Hey everybody, it's Craigman, aka Cash Keg, back with a college football prize picks video. I'm here with Zach from DFSArmy. What's going on, Zach?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Not too bad. Week 0, man. I mean, it seems like it's been forever since we had some college football. The games, though, are not going to be the best, but hey, it's football. I mean, beggars can't be choosers. But hey, my
Dude,
Illini
Vandy,
place. I'm excited
Hawaii.
about that. Illini's there. So, as bad as they suck. But no powerhouse teams, but that doesn't mean we can't take advantage of a few spots, I think. So here you got 5 plays for us here that we'll go through and kind of bring up the board, and you can kind of just talk through some of the plays that you do like. And yeah, if you want to just take this thing over, I'll just kind of click through it.
Yeah, for sure. One thing with prize picks that we need to watch is when the lines drop, they are wrong a lot of times. A lot of these lines have moved a lot. Um, One that I want to point out that I don't love right now, if you'll go over to passing yards, that really changed everything. If you go down to Mike Wright at the very bottom, he opened at 160.5. He's gone up 40 yards. He's not the best quarterback. He plays for Vandy, so obviously he's not going to be the best. But I mean, that 40 yards, that's a 20% jump in production. Just things like that we need to watch when they're dropping. But yeah, I think there's definitely still some things we can exploit. If you go up to Logan Bonner, right there, I think he should easily hit over that. He's going up against an Idaho State team that was 1-10 last year. FTS team, they're just really bad. They gave up well over 400 yards several games last year. Their total, if you go look at their average, it's around 250, but they played some triple option teams. They played some running teams. Bonner put up in 6 of his last 9 games at least 265. He's put up well over 300 yards many times. I think the biggest risk to this is if they pull him because they're up
Yeah, I
48
mean,
nothing in the second quarter.
we've talked about this numerous times. UConn is not a football town. Like how they still have a team is just pretty surprising to me in general. So
Yeah, I mean, they're just, they're not a good team. They're, not returning anything. They have a new coach, but it's not going to help,
no,
in the past couple of years.
no.
For sure. The other thing I like with Logan Bonner is fantasy score. It stayed pretty steady. I think it opened at 18.5. It's gone up to 19.5. He puts up those yards. He does this regularly. I think in his, the bowl game, he didn't do very well. He didn't play very much in the bowl game, but in his last 6 regular season games, he put up over 19.5 fantasy points. This is an offense that's going to throw the ball a decent amount. And I mean, honestly, in 2 plays, he could put up a, 50-yard bomb.
Sure.
And, even a dump off could go for 80 yards against UConn.
Sure. Yeah, I like both of those. I think it's just, yeah, if you do pull on this game, do not expect UConn to be a juggernaut on either side of it. So, yeah, I think that's your only really risk with this one is how, how deep does he go into it to get to those numbers? But they're not that high. I think he can definitely get over both of them.
No, for sure. Another play I like in this game, if you want to just stay on fantasy points,
Mm-hmm.
McGriff is the wide receiver. He should be right there. 9.5. He's the only receiver they have listed. He is going to start on the outside opposite Cobb. Usually Bonner likes to go to the slot, but they don't have a solid slot receiver right now. They actually on the depth chart have, I think, 3 players with the oars next to their name. They don't know what they're doing there. They lost their top 3 receivers last year. McGriff is their top receiver that they're coming back with. I think he has that connection. I could easily see a touchdown here. And with the scoring here, he doesn't need a ton against the UConn team that's not very good to get there.
No, I mean, what, 40 yards and a touchdown? He's there.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, so yeah, they don't take much for sure.
Another play I like here under the fantasy scores, Casey Thompson. It's right there, first in line on this, the very top. Texas transfer, went over to Nebraska, earned that starting job. Hurt his thumb at the end of last year, so his numbers don't look quite as good at the end of last year. But this is kind of a newer offense. I think it's going to look a lot different than last year. He has some shiny new toys there to go with. He has Trey Palmer came over there from LSU. He's got Marcus Washington, who came over from Oklahoma. So he's got some really nice receivers there. Northwestern doesn't have, the best passing defense anymore. They've been good in the past. This spread and the way the total looks gives them over 30 points. I mean, 17.5 is just not a huge number here for a team that also doesn't have a solid running back line.
No, I mean, what do you think about that? I know you're a UT fan, and all that. Like, Were you ever a big Casey Thompson fan when he was there?
I thought he was good. I mean, it went back and forth with him and Hudson Card, and it was kind of trying to feel out what he did. Casey Thompson was never the problem. The problem was the defense in Texas.
Right,
I mean,
sure.
he put up big points. He put up, big scores. He had a big arm. He's a gunslinger. He can throw it around. He'll make some mistakes, but I think he can easily put up 2 touchdowns and 250 yards and get you there.
I think so as well, especially like you said with that Northwestern defense, with the passing defenses. That's where they're going to leak points, and it'll be fun to see how this offense goes. But yeah, I'm with you. Like it was so frustrating last year watching Texas. They put up a bunch of points, and then it was like, how are they? They should be stomping this team.
They're allergic to tackling. They could not
Yeah,
tackle.
it was crazy watching those games. Fun for fantasy, but my lord,
Yes.
trying to watch them to play a game, it had to have been frustrating as a fan. So I was just kind of
Oh,
curious about that.
for sure. The other thing I really like about this game, and with this week, with the slate it is, it's a game that's actually competitive. It's a conference game. There aren't a ton of competitive games, so you don't have that risk of Casey Thompson getting pulled.
Right,
You're not going to be there and he's going to be at 17 points in the second quarter. Be like, oh, is he coming out after halftime? He's going to be there.
right. Makes perfect
But
sense.
I think my favorite play that's on the board still, if you go the rushing yards over to Swin, who is the running back over at Wyoming, right there in white, Titus Swin. So last year he was kind of the 1B guy behind, I believe it's Xavier Valade, who was there last year, who's now transferred to Arizona State. But that's the team that runs 40 times a game. It runs a ton. He put up several games over 100 yards last year as 1B guy, where Valade would have 120, 150 yards. The other reason I really like this is his backup is hurt, and he's got 2 guys behind him with OR tags next to him on the depth chart. So this is a game, if they can stay close, he's going to get a ton of work. And this is a team that runs the ball. That's what they do. I mean, he should get 20 carries, and if he can get 3.1 yards, 3.2 yards, he's there.
Right. I do like my Illini team. I think they're going to be better. Of course, they don't have a whole lot of ways to go up from the Lovey Smith debacle. Like I just when they hired him, I just was so frustrated. Being a Bears fan and having to go, deal with that, and then having to go being a Illini fan and be like, we're going to get more of this, really.
Hey
So
now, I'm the Texans guy that has him now.
oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You do, but just how he still has a job in any football organization, let alone collegiate or pros. But yeah, I still think they still have some work to do. And like you said, they just run so heavily, it doesn't have to do a lot to get there at all. And first game, there's going to be some mistakes on both sides of the ball. Yeah, I like that one. So at these 5, if you had to rank these, say top down, how would you kind of rank these?
I think right now I like Swin the best just because of the volume that he's going to get. It's a competitive game. It's, there's not a blowout risk there. Even if they're getting blown out, I think he's going to get work because, it's a group of 5 team versus power 5 team. They're going to want him to look good. Second would probably be Casey Thompson, just because same reason. It's a competitive game. It's a division game. It's a conference game. They want to do, they want to get in there. I think third would probably be Logan Bonner. I would go back and forth between the pass yards and the fantasy points. I think both are, fairly decent value. I think both of your biggest risks there again are, a blowout.
Blowout, right?
Yeah, and then McGriff, same thing. I mean, it's not a bad play, obviously, at all. It's just, I don't think it's as strong and has that same thing, blowout risk, or they try to get a freshman in because they want to get him some experience with Logan Bonner and things like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like them all, man. Yeah, and like I said, this is kind of the first video we'll do here for week 0. But next week we'll come out with like an early video when they first drop. That way we can kind of get on the some of the line movement early, because when they there's going to be a lot more value early, but then that video is going to be kind of obsolete in a couple days once the lines move. But they'll drop plays throughout the week, and so I think it's do a couple of these videos and hopefully help some people win a little bit of cash. But hey, if you don't have that account, make sure you use code DFSArmy for 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Put all that in the link in the description below. Appreciate your time, Zach. And if you guys want any DFS content, make sure you head on over to DFSArmy, because Zach's gonna be heading up a lot of that stuff and our projections and optimizer. Man, I'm real pumped and I'm real stoked for this year, and I think we're gonna do good things, man. So appreciate your time, Zach.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, man. See ya.
Bye.